Hey everybody, I'm Ben Horstmann, the Regional Interpretive Specialist for South Texas State Parks. And I'm here at beautiful Goliad State Park to help celebrate Rio Rio, where we talk about the relationship between the people and the natural resources here and the river that flows through it. And we're going to talk about, in my segment, is the birds that are around here. So we're going to go through different parts of the park and we're going to look at different habitats, because as you look at different habitats like the one behind me, you're going to see different birds. So the first one we're going to talk about today is the riparian habitat, or the woodland kind of river's edge habitat that we have here. So we have all these different species of plants that are out there, and those plants are going to bring all these different types of insects. They're going to produce a whole bunch of different seeds, and both those insects and seeds are going to be the food source for the different birds that come in here. So we're going to see different birds using the different habitats that we have out here. So come along with me and we'll see what we can find. Here's one of my favorites, the green jay. This is South Texas specialty, and doesn't go too much farther north than Goliad, but really a cool bird that you will definitely hear coming. They're very loud and boisterous, but then you can also see them coming as they're really brightly colored. They're going to eat just about everything. Here's another little cool bird that we find in the woodlands a lot. This is our Carolina wren, and Carolina wrens are a really cool kind of bird with attitude. They're going to be calling a lot. The male's call sounds like tea kettle, tea kettle, tea kettle, and then the female will answer with a bzzz that sounds kind of like somebody running their thumb over a comb. Really great little bird and an insectivore, so it's going to be picking bugs out of all the plants and stuff. And wherever you have trees, you're going to have woodpeckers. So this male ladderback woodpecker with the red cap is excavating a nest hole, and the female here with the black cap is picking away the bark looking for insects to eat. Just awesome, fun birds to watch anytime you get to see a woodpecker. Hi everybody, it's Ben back here again at Goliad State Park in a different part of the park. This is the day use area, one of the day use areas of the park that you can see is all mowed. We have large trees in the background. A lot of these are going to produce nuts and seeds and berries for the birds, but they're also going to attract a lot of insects. So we're going to see different birds that come use this area because we don't have all the seeds of the grasses on the ground. But what we also have here is this really thick edge, and a lot of species of birds, but really a lot of animals like that edge habitat. So down there is the river, and then we've got this real thick edge of that, the riverbank, and then we've got this open space. So a lot of things like flycatchers, some of the sparrows like these open spaces, and they're going to use a place like this. So let's see what we can find in this area. Watch for flycatchers in these open areas, like this eastern Phoebe. They'll fly from one perch, go out and catch a bug, and then fly back to another. This one you can ID with a little tail pump that it does. Another type of bird to watch for in these open areas, either soaring high or on these snags, dead trees and stuff that are here, are raptors. And in this case, it's the crested caracara, our biggest falcon. And this bird, sometimes called a Mexican eagle, a lot of times you'll see them on power poles, but on big snags like this tree, really showing off nicely here. And now our littlest falcon, this is the American kestrel. It just comes down here in the wintertime, and they're really tiny, but they are really pretty birds. Flying off to catch insects and small rodents and birds sometimes. You can really tell with this one is a male with that blue coloration to it and the rufous or reddish color on its back. Hi y'all, Ben back here again. This is a different part of the park. This is the prairie area, so completely different habitat. We still do have the edge habitat and the woodland habitat that's close here, but in this area, instead of the short grass in the day use area, we're going to have this nice tall grass with a lot of nice seed heads on it that the birds will love to eat. Those seed heads, And then we have all these little flowers that are going to attract a bunch of different types of insects that the birds will like to eat as well. We also have some flowers like the morning glories in here that are great for hummingbirds to get nectar out of. So let's see what we can find in the prairie. Sparrows are always a great bird to watch for in areas like this. In this case, this Savannah sparrow, which is a pretty little sparrow, but pretty nondescript. A lot of people have trouble identifying these as little brown jobs or little brown birds, but they are a really great bird to watch, and once you get a little bit more advanced, they're fun to try and identify. And this one is just the showy and really hard to misidentify this one. This is the painted bunting. And painted buntings are the showstopper whenever you're out birding, when you get to see one of these birds either perched up, singing, or digging into the seeds on these grasses. One of our beautiful birds and really a Texas specialty. Another bird to look for in the grasslands and prairie areas is the eastern bluebird. And this one is just a beautiful little bird. They're insectivores, so they're just going to be looking for bugs, but you can help them out by putting up bluebird houses and making sure that the bluebird houses are checked regularly so that the house sparrows and things like that don't take over. Really a fun bird to watch and just a beautiful one to have in your area. Hey everybody, I'm over here at Cardinals Haven, which is the bird feeding station that they have set up here at the park. And this is a nice area for beginner birders especially, because the birds will come to you. But it's also a good example of what you can do at your own house, in your backyard, is set up some sort of a mister, and then some feeders. But really even the seed and the feeders aren't as important as the water that's coming out of the drip and the mister that are happening over here. Those birds need water, and especially in South Texas, that's going to be what's going to attract them the most. Some of our birds, especially the little warblers and things that are coming through here during migration, they don't care about the seed at all. They're just looking for that water to cool off and get a drink. All right, so when you're home and you're trying to figure out how to set up your backyard, this is a good example of that. If you do put out those seed feeders, the likelihood is good that you're going to find one of these Carolina chickadees coming in to use it. And you probably won't just find one. They're very social birds, so usually there's 2 or 3 together, in some cases bigger groups than that, as they curiously look through crevices and cracks looking for seeds. And just a really fun bird to watch at your feeders. Another bird that might come into your feeders is the mourning dove. These and white-winged doves and some of the other smaller doves love to come into seed feeders, especially feeding on the ground. So if you kind of throw some seed on the ground, it may help out attracting these guys. Really a pretty dove with a really kind of a somber call, but very identifiable. So you'll know if you have one of these in your area. And finally, another seed-eating bird that's going to come into feeders, but also in the grassland area, is this indigo bunting. And here you can see a male, the bright blue male, and the brown female. Those will both come into your seed feeders in the spring and in the fall during migration, and then also be out eating the seeds off the prairies, as I said. A beautiful bird, and in some cases you'll see dozens of these littering the ground if you have seed that you put on the ground. Hi y'all, back here up at the mission here at Goliad State Park. Hopefully you enjoyed all of the birds that we saw there, and I really do encourage you to get out here and see these birds. Springtime is always a great time, but any time of year is a great time to be in a Texas state park, and especially here at Goliad State Park. If you can't get out to the park, make sure that you do put out feeders or water drip, and try to get those birds in your backyard and see what you can find. All right, take care.